Monday. It said that John and Jim are cutting a log. John cut 1/5 of the log on one end, while Jim cut 2/9 of the log on the other side. How much of the log is left? If you have to draw a picture, I'm going to draw a log. There's my log, okay? Jim cut, and this is not to size, but he cut off 1/5, and, oh, that was John. I guess Jim cut off the 2/9. So I've got to figure out what is left. So I take 1/5 plus 2/9. What's my common denominator?
45.
45. Oops, why did I write 49? Now, how do I get from 5 to 45?
Times 9.
Okay, show me that you're timesing by 9, so 1 times 9 is 9. How do I get from 9 to 45?
Times 5.
Show me that you're multiplying, so 2 times 5 is 10. We are adding, so 9 45ths plus 10 45ths becomes 19 45ths. That's what they cut off. So how do I figure out what is left in here? Well, you take it away from 1, because that was our one piece. So I take 1 minus 19 45ths. I cannot take 19 45ths away from nothing. So you borrow, that 1 becomes a 0, and I make a fraction here that equals 1. So that would be 45 45ths. 45ths is going to be my denominator. What's 45 minus 19? If you can't do that, and I suggest you don't try it in your head because you had to borrow, you just do it off to the side. The 4 becomes a 3, the 5 becomes a 15.
6.
Now 15 minus 9 is 6, and 3 minus 1 is 2. So then you're left with 26 45ths. Two was multiplying fractions. I said that I find that multiplying fractions is easier than adding and subtracting fractions. Because all you do, you can leave it horizontal and you just go 3 times 5, 10 times 12, and that's your answer. But before I go and do my multiplication, I want to see if there's anything I can reduce. I can reduce my 10 and my 5 by, not 2, 5, yeah. Because 10 divided by 5 is 2, 5 divided by 5 is 1. I can reduce my 3 and 12. What can I divide them by?
3.
3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is
4.
Now we just do my multiplication. 1 times 1 is
1.
2 times 4 is
8.
8. And there's 1, 2 negative. So my answer is going to be
Positive.
positive. Number 3 you did not have to do. It said find the mean or average of the data set below. We had 2/4, 18/5, 28/10, and 5/20. You guys need to be writing this down. When it's asking you to find the mean or the data set, I find it easier to change the fractions to a decimal. And I would allow you to use a calculator to do this. So you would just do 2 divided by 4, which would be 0.5. 18 divided by 5 would be 3.6. 28 divided by 10 is 2.8. 5 divided by 20 is 0.25. To find the mean, you add them all up. After I add them all up, I'd get 7.15. What's the next step in finding the mean? Divide by how many there are, and there's 4. So I do 7.15 divided by 4, and my final answer would be 1.7875. 5. Do you have a question? Yeah.
So for the problem that you say that would be the calculator for the need to ask you,
Yeah, I just didn't have you guys do number 3,
um,
okay, because that wasn't on the board, but yes, I'll let you know which ones you can use a calculator for.
okay.
And we're gonna start putting the calculator into some of our lessons now. Number 4, we just have to solve a negative 88 equals 5y minus 13. This is like what we've seen several weeks now. Put a line through the equal sign. Box around the 5y, and how do I move what's not boxed in?
Add 13.
Add 13 to both sides. They cancel each other out. One's negative and one is positive, so I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. 8 minus 1 is
7.
keep that negative sign because the bigger number is negative. Equals
5.
5y. Now how do I get rid of the y?
Box it and
Box it in, and what do I
divide
do?
by 5.
Divide by the 5, because that's 5 times y. And I have to do it on both sides. They cancel each other out, and then 75 divided by 5 is,
15.
and it would stay negative, because I have one negative, one's positive, so negative 15 equals
Y.
y. How many of you got 4 correct? Nice. Excellent. That's a good direction. Number 5. Expand the following. 1/6 times the quantity. 18x minus 24. Should be writing this down. To expand, you are doing the what property? Distributive. So it's 1/6 times 18x over 1 minus 1/6 times 24 over 1. Before I multiply fractions, I'm going to cross cancel by 6. 6 becomes a 1, 18 becomes a 3. So I have 1 times 3, x is just 3x. Bring down my subtraction sign. Reduce by 6. 6 becomes a 1, 24 becomes a 4. 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1, so it's just a 4. Six. X plus 5 minus, because it said the difference of the two, so 2x plus 3. I'm subtracting, so this would be like saying x minus 2x. This x is just like 1. So it's like saying I have a 1 minus 2 equals. Oh, that'd be like 1 plus a negative 2. One's negative, one's positive, so I just subtract. And it would be a negative 1, but make sure you keep that x with it. So it's negative 1x. Then I have a positive 5 minus a positive 3. So what's 5 minus 3?
2.
2. So it would just be plus 2. I'm not using that, I'm not bringing that minus sign down. Because I already used it when I did the problem. Because here's another way you can look at it. X plus 5 minus 2x plus 3. What we really did is we kept the x plus 5 And then we used the negative and the distributive property. We distributed that negative to the 2. So it's minus 2x. We distributed the negative to the 3, so it's minus 3. Then we just looked and combined our terms. A positive x and a negative x, which we said was, well, negative 2x, so we said it was a negative x. Then we have a positive 5 and a negative 3, which we said was a positive 2. Do you see how I wrote it just a little bit different down here? If you just have one x, I don't have to put the 1 in front of it. You do not have to put the 1 in front of it. Seven and eight, we're upping the game a little bit. It's a little bit more.
Can you pull it up a little bit?
Sure can.
Thank you.
3x plus 5 minus 13x equals 25. So we've been doing problems like number 4, where it's been a number on one side, only one letter, and number on the other side. But look what we have done here. What have we done? Say that again. Added 2 letters now, because we have a 3x and the negative 13x. Before I go to solve for x, I better combine those 2. So I have a negative 13 and a positive 3. What does that become?
Negative 10.
Negative 10x. Bring down your 5. So now we have 5 minus 10x equals 25. Now we're back to what we're used to. Draw your line. Box in the x. This is like a positive 5, so how do I get rid of a positive 5?
Subtract.
Subtract. Or add negative. Subtract. So now I have a negative 10x equals 20. How do I get rid of the x? Box it in, divide by a negative 10. So now I have x equals a negative 2. That's your final answer. So we just had one extra step that we aren't used to.
You're going off.
Thank you. Here we're doing the same thing. We've got to be on both sides. First, combine your 2 that you have together. Positive 8b and a positive 2b. What does that become?
10b.
10b, yep. So now you have 8 plus 10b equals 2b plus 16. This is like my teeter-totter, okay? I have to have numbers on one side, letters on the other. It makes no difference which ones we move. We're gonna have to either move the 2b over here to the 10, or the 10 over to the 2. We're gonna have to move the 16 over to the 8, or the 8 over to the 16. What do you guys wanna move? I don't care.
8 to the 16.
Okay, so if we wanna move the 8 to the 16, I'm going to subtract 8, subtract 8. So that's done. So now I have 10b equals 2b plus 8. How do I get this 2b over here? This is like adding, it's a positive, so I'm going to
Subtract.
subtract 2b, subtract 2b. So now I have 8b equals 8. I still need to get b alone.
So subtract
So this is like multiplying, so now I'm going to
two. Divide.
divide by 8, divide by 8, b equals, well, 8 divided by 8 is just 1. So that one was a lot more steps. Because we bumped it up to having more than one with an exponent, you guys are going to need to be able to do simple ones like number 4. Go ahead and